Hello, Nomad Sculpt, and this is a workflow video. So, how to create such channels. I don't know the exact words for it. For wires, or for if you want to install a LED light, maybe in the eyes. So to hollow the object out and where the cable fits through. Okay, so I don't print myself, but I know a workflow how to do it. Okay, so first, so I hide this, and the first sculpture here is a solid mesh. So, sorry, I bring it in the correct view. So I'm using the trim tool, and I trim it. Oops, I want the square trim. Sorry, symmetry is on. So you see it's a solid mesh here. And the other one here, I made it hollow. So it looks like this here. So you can see it's inside hollow. Okay. So I start with the first one. So we need a tube. So I select the tube tool, and to start with a tube, there are some ways. So okay, I start with a gizmo, and so here the pivot of the object is maybe on this position, but I want the pivot here on the eye. So you see here the direction, the green arrow, and now I add here on this checkbox on gizmo a tube. So the tube is very big, so I change the radius, so like this. And you see now the tube goes straight through the eye where I want my cable or my LED light. And here on the bottom here I have a shortcut for perspective and orthographic view. So I use orthographic. So I'm using now the side view. And here at the top you see here a snapping option for the tube. So disable the snapping. So snapping on surface we don't need at the moment. And here at the bottom there's my X-ray shortcut. So I press X-ray, and here you can change the settings to all, selected, and so on. I want everything X-ray. So now I pick my tube, so I add a new node, and here at this position I want the cable to come out of the mesh. So it looks good. Everything is fine. So now I go in the front view, and so I want my cable through the legs. And here through the neck. And here in the new version there's a merge, stop merging option here. So I press this, and now I can overlap here the tube nodes, so like this. I think I need here another one. So check the tube that there's no overlapping or and don't ask me about the diameter of the tube you need for the wires. I don't know. Okay, good. So maybe we need a second one. So this checkbox is active at the moment, so we don't need it anymore. So, and I use now a mirror to create a second one, and now we don't need the X-ray view anymore. So it looks like this. Okay, so we can validate the tube and we can validate the mirror. So I press here join children. And now we use a Boolean operation. So we hide them, the tubes, and I select now the main mesh, the man, and I press here Boolean. So now you see here the tube goes through the mesh, and here's the position it comes out. So maybe we need for the battery here's something. So like such a box here for the battery. So I Boolean this out. Oh, we made a mistake. Or better, I made a mistake. So I paint this. That it fits inside. So now Boolean again. So now you see here, yeah, the red color. So now everything is fine. Let's see. So I trim the whole object here, maybe here. So you see here the channel or the tube channel here goes through your mesh. Maybe it helps. So this is for the solid object. So I delete everything and we need now this guy. And so I move it back to the origin. So as I said, the mesh is hollow. It has such a thin wall. Okay. So in fact we do the same. I use the tube tool and sorry, I have to smooth the guy a little bit here. Okay, so the pivot, I place the pivot here, then I add on gizmo position a tube. Then I use the side view, same as the last time. So I'm using X-ray, snapping off. Front view. So maybe, yeah, you can play a little bit with it. I don't know how it is when we align it to the inner stuff here, but in fact you can align it here to the body here like this, but let's test it like this here. So it's more about the workflow, I think. So I'll make it a little bit thinner. It looks okay. So X-ray. So maybe I place here snapping off. Okay, so again, I mirror the whole thing here. I disable on Gizmo and I'm using the mirror, and let's validate the, before I validate the thing here. So here I create a clone of the tube. I can pull it out of the repeater node here or of the mirror. And this one, the second one, becomes a little bit smaller. So like this here. So when you see it in X-ray mode, so it's yeah, the channel for the cable. Okay, and then let's validate everything. I validate the mirror, keep instances, or join children better. Okay. So first we have to clone the man. So I clone the man, I hide the man, select my main tube, and I use Boolean. So this splits the tube. And now I can separate the objects. So we have this part. So this, sorry. I only want this one, delete this, delete. And here at the bottom, I delete this one and this one. So now So I'm using now the solo mode. So you see here, it's, sorry, I paint this. I don't know what happened here, but maybe this was a thing from the last Boolean thing. Okay, but no problem. So I'm using now, or I joined the two parts here, and I'm using now the cell mask. So I mask this thing here, and now I press invert, and now here in the X-ray mode, so when you look close, I move the tube a little bit inside the other mesh, like this. So I clear the mask, and now I go in the side view. So I need the view like this here, and I'm using the cell mask, and I mask this here, invert. So, and I'm using now the gizmo, and I'm moving a little bit inside the other mesh. Okay, and now we can Boolean the parts together. Okay, I press Boolean. So, and the last thing is, so we need the hollow channel here. So I'm adding a mirror. Validate, yes. So now I Boolean this thing out of the man. Okay. So now let's see what happened. So I'm using the hide tool, hide a little bit. So here you see the inside of the mesh here. It looks like this. And it looks okay. So I'm using here, to see it better, the trim tool, and I trim the guy like this, and you see here the things. Yeah. Okay, so a last trim here. Like this. Okay. So yeah, that's it. But a last thing I show you, maybe it's interesting. So I go a few steps back. So this is my main character here. Sorry, I go a few more steps back. So I only need the man here. So this is a small bonus thing, I think, how to hollow out this guy here. Okay, so X-ray view, so it's a solid model. Okay, so I'm using the mask, and I mask this guy. And now I'm activating the mask menu here, and here you can set a thickness. So, but I use a negative thickness to create the inner wall. So maybe like this here. And you see here the closing action is none. So set this to none and extract the mesh. So you see here there are problem zones here. So things like this, or the nose and the ears, but we fix it. So I extract this. It looks like this. Not very nice, but okay. So now I'm using the trim tool. I trim parts away I don't want. So I don't want the ears. Sorry, I use a lasso. So, and I'm using symmetry. So the ears are fixed. So the hands we don't need at all. So like this. Okay, the rest looks okay. And then I use the operations menu and I smooth the mesh. So maybe we remesh the whole thing here. Something like this. And now let's use the X-ray mode and check everything. So here's a problem. So I'm at the moment trim tool is active, so I trim this part. Oops. We need more space here, so I check the mesh for overlappings, and so here between the legs, so we need also a little bit more space, I think. And here, I hope you can see it. So maybe it could work or maybe not. So I'm using the solo view for this mesh and X-ray off. So clay. So maybe a little bit more like this. And this mesh here, I want a little bit thicker. So I'm using the cell mask, masking like this here. Invert the mask, blur it a little bit. And then inflate, oops, inflate. It looks okay. So I trim the bottom here a little bit more. So now I hide this mesh, select the other one, so we can clear here everything. And now I'm using Boolean. So using X-ray, then you can see what happens. Boolean, Boolean. So now the mesh is hollow and no overlapping and everything is fine. So when you trim now the mesh, so you get such a yeah, a shell. Okay, that's it. Have fun with sculpting and 3D printing, and ciao.